Forgiveness. How letting go changes everything. Have you ever found yourself replaying the same painful memory over and over, as if your mind is stuck on a scene you wish you could change? I know that feeling all too well. For years, a single argument with my brother haunted me, his words echoing in my mind, the look on his face burned into my memory. No matter what I did, that moment always found its way back to me. Every morning, I would wake up with a weight in my chest, remembering what was said, and what was left unsaid. I tried to move on, but forgiveness felt like a word reserved for other people, stronger, softer, wiser people. I didn't realize that holding on to the pain was actually holding me back from everything else in my life. Forgiveness isn't just an idea or a moral lesson. It's a choice, a daily, sometimes hourly decision to let go of the anger that wants to take root in your heart. It doesn't happen all at once. Some days, it feels impossible. But I'm here to share how I learned it's possible, even for someone like me. In this video, I want to walk with you through the 5 signs that you're finally ready to forgive. I'll tell you what they looked like in my life, and how each one opened a door I thought would always be locked. Maybe, as you listen, you'll see a little of your own story in mine. Sign 1. You stop replaying the hurt. There was a time when every quiet moment became a trap. If I was alone in my car, folding laundry, or lying in bed at night, the memory of that fight with my brother would rise up again. I'd hear his words, I'd replay my own response, and I'd wonder if I could have done something, anything, differently. At first, I thought this was normal, maybe even necessary. I thought if I could just analyze it enough, I'd finally find some peace. But the more I obsessed, the more I felt stuck, angry, tired, and always a little bit hollow. One day, without even noticing, I realized the memory hadn't come to visit in a while. A few hours would go by, then a whole day, then maybe a week, and I wouldn't think about it. When I finally noticed the absence, I felt a strange kind of freedom. The past hadn't changed, but it had loosened its grip. Experts say the first sign of forgiveness is when the pain stops controlling your mind. It doesn't mean the memory disappears. It just means you've started to live more in the present than in the past. Have you ever caught yourself going a whole day without replaying an old hurt? If so, that might be your first step toward letting go. Sign 2. You start wishing them well. At first, the idea of wishing my brother well felt almost impossible. How could I hope for good things for someone who hurt me so deeply? I convinced myself that forgiveness meant pretending nothing happened, or letting him off the hook. But over time, I realized that real forgiveness isn't about erasing the past or ignoring the pain. It's about letting go of the bitterness that keeps you trapped. One morning, years after our argument, I saw a picture of my brother on social media. He looked different, older, maybe even sadder than I remembered. Instead of feeling anger or resentment, I was surprised to feel a quiet hope that he was okay, that he was finding some peace in his life. It wasn't dramatic, and it didn't mean I forgot what happened. But that tiny moment showed me that forgiveness had started to work its way into my heart. Psychologists say that when you're able to wish someone well, even silently, even if you never speak to them again, it's a sign that you're healing. It means you're taking your power back from the pain. Have you ever surprised yourself by feeling compassion for someone who once hurt you? It's a small step, but it matters more than you might think. Sign 3. You no longer need the apology. For a long time, I believed the only way I could move on was if my brother apologized. Every birthday, every holiday, I wondered if this would be the day he finally reached out to say he was sorry. I would rehearse in my mind what I would say back, imagining how the conversation would go, how we might fix things. But the apology never came. And with each year, the hope that it might arrive faded a little more. Then, one evening as I was cleaning out an old box of letters, I found a note I had written to him but never sent. As I read my own words, I realized that I needed to forgive myself for waiting so long, for letting anger and sadness take up so much space in my life. Letting go of the need for an apology was hard. But the moment I stopped waiting, I felt lighter. I understood that forgiveness is something you give yourself, not something you get from someone else. Experts agree. When you stop needing someone else to make things right, you finally give yourself permission to move forward. Have you ever been stuck waiting for an apology that never came? What might happen if you let yourself move on, whether or not you ever hear those words? Sign 4. You see the lesson, not just the pain. For a long time, all I could see when I thought about my brother was the pain he caused me. The trust that was broken, the anger that lingered, the distance that grew between us. It felt like nothing good could ever come from that experience. But as time passed and the edges of those memories softened, I started to notice something else beneath the surface. I realized that the pain taught me things I never would have learned otherwise. I learned how to set boundaries, how to speak up before resentment built up, how to be patient even when it was hard. In some ways, my brother, without meaning to, showed me the parts of myself that needed the most care and growth. Sometimes the people who hurt us the most are also our greatest teachers. It doesn't make what happened right. But if you can find a lesson, even a small one, you can turn suffering into wisdom. Experts say that when you begin to see the lessons beneath your pain, you take back control of your story. The past remains, but it stops deciding your future. Have you ever found a hidden lesson inside a painful experience? What have your own struggles taught you about yourself? Sign 5. You let go, for you, not for them. For years, I thought forgiving my brother was a gift I was giving to him, a way of letting him off the hook. But one day, I finally understood, forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. I didn't have to forget what happened, or pretend it didn't matter. I just had to stop letting anger hold me captive. Letting go didn't change the past, but it changed everything about my present and my future. With each step away from old grudges, I felt lighter and stronger. I realized I was finally free to build my own life, instead of living in the shadow of what had been done to me. Experts say forgiveness is not about approving of someone else's actions. It's about reclaiming your own peace and your own power. What could you reclaim in your own life, if you chose to let go, just for you? Forgiveness isn't easy. It doesn't mean forgetting what happened, or pretending the pain never existed. It means choosing, sometimes again and again, to free yourself from the hold of the past. Maybe your story is different from mine. Maybe the person you need to forgive is a parent, a friend, or maybe even yourself. But no matter who it is, the signs are always the same. You stop replaying the pain. You start wishing them well. You let go of needing an apology. You find the lesson beneath the hurt. And you let go, not for them, but for you. If you saw any part of yourself in my story today, know this, you're not alone. Millions of people are still carrying old wounds, still waiting for peace. But the journey toward forgiveness always begins with a single step. So what will your first step be? Maybe it's writing a letter you never sent. Maybe it's taking a quiet walk, or simply deciding that you're ready. If this story touched you, leave a comment below with, "I'm ready," and share your own experience or advice for others. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, please send this video to them. Remember, forgiveness is not for them, it's for you. Give yourself the gift of peace, one small choice at a time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more stories about healing and hope. Thank you for listening. You're stronger than you think.